Good evening and thank you for joining me this Tuesday. I'm Maddy Haberberger coming to you remotely from my home in Kent. While TV2 can't be in the studio, we're still dedicated to bringing you the day's top stories. Welcome to TV2 Online. Today's top three stories: Pfizer announced the efficacy of its vaccine, Governor Mike DeWine is planning to extend the state's curfew, and the Department of Health is changing the way it reports its COVID-19 data. The U.S. Food and Drug Administration has confirmed safety data and efficacy of Pfizer's COVID-19 vaccine. Its effectiveness against COVID is 95%, which Pfizer previously reported. The proposed dosing regimen is 2 doses 21 days apart. The document also notes the vaccine appears to provide some protection against the virus following just 1 dose. The vaccine will now be considered for emergency use authorization in the United States. President Trump signed an executive order today which will prioritize the U.S. receiving vaccine doses over other countries. The White House hopes the order will minimize concerns about the country not having enough of the vaccine to immunize at-risk groups. This move comes after a New York Times piece claimed Pfizer offered to sell more doses to the U.S. government over the summer, but additional units were not purchased. The White House disputes turning down the opportunity to buy more doses. The U.S. is currently getting 100 million doses of the Pfizer vaccine under the current agreement, which is enough to vaccinate 50 million people. Ohio Governor Mike DeWine announced plans today to extend the state's curfew. The curfew, which is set from 10 p.m. to 5 a.m. daily, was set to expire Thursday, but the governor said there are still too many coronavirus cases in Ohio. The average number of new cases each week has grown from about 7,600 to 8,600.
We will clear those backlog antigen tests, and they will be added to our reported case counts. That will result in a one-day spike in reported cases.
Governor Mike DeWine cautioned that the spike in coronavirus cases today are not just from the past 24 hours. The Ohio Department of Health reported nearly 26,000 new cases of coronavirus today, with 81 new deaths. The major increase of cases came from about 13,000 antigen test results that dates all the way back to November 1st. Yesterday, Governor DeWine said Ohio is changing its procedure of reporting COVID cases, now including presumed positive results from antigen testing after the CDC changed how it wants case data reported. Despite the backlog in cases, there were still 11,728 COVID-19 cases today, a new single-day record in the state. Many Kent State University activities had to be modified this year due to the COVID-19 pandemic, theatrical performances included. But the School of Theater and Dance is finding a way for the show to safely go on. Our reporter Alexandria Manthey has the story.
Theater and dance performers across the U.S. have faced challenges due to COVID-19 restrictions. The Kent State School of Theater and Dance has found ways to adapt to the limitations and still hold performances.
At this time, we're very fortunate to be going forward with live stream productions.
The School of Theater and Dance is holding 2 more live stream performances this year, including a show called The Zoom Play that has a title from December 11th through the 13th, and a musical called In Pieces that streams from December 18th through the 20th.
There are some unique challenges in some of our spaces.
The department has overcome these challenges with their live stream solution. There is no cost to view these productions, but the school does ask that audience members RSVP via the kent.edu/theater dance website. Reporting for TV2 News, I'm Alexandria Manthey.
And now for a look at your 3-day forecast. Tomorrow will be cloudy with a high of 42 degrees, with the sun peeking back out on Thursday. The high Thursday will be 45, and that high will rise up to 53 degrees on Friday with some more clouds rolling in. Starting today, parking meter fees in downtown Kent will be suspended. Mayor Jerry Fiala hopes this move stimulates shopping in the downtown area. This fee suspension does not apply to the Kent Central Gateway parking deck, and there is not a set date for when fees will be restored, but officials expect it will be after the holiday season. Electric truck company Lordstown Motors says it has plans to create over 1,500 jobs as it starts production on its pickup truck. The Ohio Tax Credit Authority approved tax incentives for 6 companies, including Lordstown Motors, that will allot more than $20 million in state tax credits. They plan to hire 1,570 new workers by the end of 2025. Now to a developing story. This afternoon, we learned that Kent State football's regular season is over. That's right, the Mid-American Conference announced that Kent State football will not play their season finale versus Ohio University on Saturday due to COVID-19 related issues on Kent State's end. Last week, the team had to cancel their game versus Miami University for similar COVID-19 concerns. The team will now have to see if they are selected for a bowl game if they want to play again this season.
And now, your TV2 Sports Report.
Hello, Kent State and all of Portage County. I'm Jack Berney with another edition of a remote TV2 Sports Report. The Kent State men's basketball team is back in action tonight as they travel to Detroit, Michigan to take on Detroit Mercy. That's where we start today. And the Kent State men's basketball team will be back in action tonight for the first time since Friday when they went toe-to-toe with one of the best teams in the country, taking number 15 Virginia all the way to overtime before they ultimately fell short 71-64. They're in Detroit tonight to take on Detroit Mercy. Kent State leads the all-time series between these two teams at 4-2. And Kent State and Detroit Mercy actually played last season in Kent when the Flashes came away with a 92-57 victory. A player to watch tonight is Mike Nuga. He's averaging 18.5 points per game for Kent State for their first two games this season. And on Friday against Virginia, he had 20 points and 6 rebounds. I think the Flashes play well tonight, and I think they get a win and move to 2-1. And we have some breaking news in the world of college football as Saturday's game scheduled between the number 4 Ohio State Buckeyes and the Michigan Wolverines has been canceled due to an increasing number of positive COVID tests in Michigan's football program. This cancellation will mark the first time in 103 years, all the way back to 1917. That was the last time Ohio State and Michigan did not play in a college football season. Now, what this means for the Ohio State Buckeyes, who are currently sit at number 4 in the college football playoff standings, it means they fall one game short of the 6-game minimum Big Ten threshold to get into the Big Ten championship game. They've only played 5 games. They would need one more game to get into the Big Ten championship. So if the Big Ten does not change the rules and Ohio State cannot find an opponent for Saturday, that means Indiana would get into the Big Ten championship and not the Buckeyes. Obviously, Ohio State is trying to schedule an opponent for Saturday. Follow us on Twitter at TV2KSU Sports for updates on this developing story. And for updates on tonight's Kent State men's basketball game, be sure to follow us on Twitter at TV2KSU Sports. We'll have up-to-the-minute scores and stats for you. And that is all I have for sports. I'm Jack Berney. Back to you, Maddie.
That's all we have time for this Tuesday evening. Thank you for sticking with us. We'll be back here every night this week at 7 with the latest headlines and breaking news. I'm Maddy Haberberger. Have a great night.